You're listening to background noise.
Background noise?
Yeah, background noise.
What's going on?
It
I teased real quick.
It
Who's going to
worked.
be in the podcast,
It
boy?
worked.
Hey, you know what? Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Background Noise podcast. Today, I got somebody that I'm super excited to be talking with today, having a conversation with. It's somebody that I've known since, I would say, elementary/middle school.
Hell
We've known each other all through life around that time. He's an interesting character that has a bunch of interesting life stories. I mean, to list a few, working security detail, loss prevention, posting those videos online and getting a lot of traction doing that. Interesting videos, to then working towards building a bike community in a town that really took over the entire town. And we'll get into all those things. And now, most currently, is fresh out the military and probably in the best shape of his life. An incredible guest by the name of Lotto. So Lotto, without further ado,
What's up,
welcome to the
gentlemen?
podcast, baby.
We're welcome in here.
Yes,
What's up,
sir.
brother?
Dude, I appreciate you for being on, dog.
What's up, my guy? Thanks
Dude.
for having me, man.
We were just talking about it before we got started, bro. Like how crazy it is that, like, bro, we're both from a small town, and it's crazy that we're doing a podcast sitting here in Houston. Like,
That's what I'm saying, dude. I would have never thought I'd be in your room.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I know it sounds like, fruity, but I never thought I'd be in your room. You know what I mean? Like,
Bro, I feel it, bro. I get it, 'cause
it's like
true.
crazy. Yeah. So, but I don't know. It's pretty nice being in Houston. Houston's pretty cool.
And
You enjoy it?
I like it. I mean, I miss having like the beach is right close. I mean, we got Galveston out here, but I mean, it's nothing like what you get being out there in Cali. Being back at home. The people are nicer. The cost of living, I think, is like I don't know that it's actually less expensive, like what people really make it out to be.
Yeah, they try to say shit about like the gas is cheaper, but when it comes to the tolls, ain't nothing cheap. You know,
Nah.
those tolls hit you like a midlife crisis. So I don't like the tolls, bro. That's you know.
Okay, and obviously, like, there's a whole bunch that I want to get into, and I don't want to like skip any parts of the stories. So we might be hopping like back and forth through a lot of different like topics and whatnot. But like one thing that I'm gonna ask you is like, bro, like, how did you end up in Houston? Like, I think your family's out here now.
Yeah.
Have they always been like? Do you have like roots in Houston, or like what's like?
None at all, dude. No. When I was living, because I was doing the bike meets for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then whenever I was doing that, my family moved out to Houston. So I ended up getting in trouble with that, and I had a lot of trouble pretty much with the laws. So I figured I'm gonna go to Houston. I was on probation when I moved to Houston. And I
No.
wasn't supposed to leave the state, but I ended up leaving and going here and just like finishing on my probation, and I went back to California. And then went to my court date. They had no idea I was gone. They didn't have my location, no air tag or nothing. So it was cool, man. I was happy about it. Houston's been pretty good to me. There's a lot of opportunities too.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
love the opportunities.
I've seen you a lot, like with a camera out here, doing stand-up comedy, doing all these things. And like one thing that I definitely want to ask you, and it's a curiosity that I think a lot of people have. I mean, definitely including myself, is that like I would classify you as a person that's like easily viral. Like you're a viral person.
Oh, I'm a retard, dude.
Like, talk
Retards
about
go
it,
viral, okay?
bro,
That's what I'm
because
saying.
you like with the things that you put out, bro. Like you like it works. Anything works, bro. Like, and honestly, like I'm gonna tell you this right now, bro. Like I feel like I've seen your progression go from like the loss prevention videos, which were awesome, dude. Those are funny.
Those are funny.
I was telling somebody the other day. I was like, dude, like if the Meta Ray-Ban glasses were around when bro was doing that, oh, it would give you way right. And so whether it was that the bike meets, like seeing how you were like, bro, you united an entire city, dude. Like what?
Yeah, when you think about it, like the kids from like the east side and the kids from the north side were riding together, and it's like they would have never had that type of stuff. You know what I mean? People didn't look at stuff like, okay, you're from a different side of town. You know what I mean? It was blacks and Mexicans, blacks and whites, and we didn't really have that in Bakersfield. The parents would like kind of like know what to do because the parents would be beefing sometimes before like anything. Whenever the parents started like whenever kids started showing up to the bike meets, because it's only supposed to be, you remember, it was just street bikes, and then all of a sudden like 3 or 4 dirt bikes showed up, and then it was like 70 dirt bikes showed up, and I was like, damn, bro, I didn't know what to do. It was too much. It's a lot of trouble,
Dude, one thing that I will say, and like I mean, obviously I told you at the time, and we talked about it briefly. It was you were like arriving here, to the studio, and bro, one thing that I will 100% say, bro, is I gotta give you your flowers, bro. I gotta officially on record, on video, say thank you, dude, because you literally, you helped me get my bike back, dude. Like,
I forgot
that's
about
insane.
that.
Like,
That's
I
crazy.
remember having lost my bike, and this was around the time that you were like popping off heavily doing like the bike meets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then someone yoinked my bike. They just straight up they jacked it, dude. And I know that you had a page at the time, and I remember my mom telling me like, hey, like, because I had mentioned that you have a page, and then she's like, why don't you ask him to see if like he can post it? And like, I don't know, like, I'm like, dude, mom, like, you lose a bike, you're not getting that back. Like, it's not even
Yeah,
worth
not
the
in
while,
Bakersfield, dude.
right? And so I'm like, bro, that's not like, it's not worth the time. I'm not gonna do that. And obviously I ended up reaching out anyway, because it's like, well, I mean, there's no other option. There's nothing else I can do.
Nothing to lose. You know what I mean?
And so I hit you up. You posted it. I remember saying like, oh, I'll give a $500 reward if anybody brings back my bike. And you posted all that stuff for me. And then, dude, immediately I was able to feel the impact of your influence, because around that time, it felt like I got eyes on the street, bro. Like, for every little thing, people were like, oh, I saw the bike around like this street. I saw it parked over here at the Walmart.
That's
It was
crazy.
at the Dollar General. It was over here, over there. And eventually I started to realize that there was this one street that a lot of people were like using or they were using the bike on. A lot of people were telling me that that they would see it around that street.
What street, Chester?
It was Panama, actually.
Oh, Panama.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was on
So
Panama.
you got it stolen by a Hispanic.
Nah, dude, it wasn't Hispanic, bro.
Really? Okay.
It was
Never mind.
folks of the Caucasian descent.
Golly.
Yeah.
I'm just going off of fucking what you know what I mean? North.
Do you know the story of how I got it back?
No, I don't remember.
I don't think I ever got to tell you that, dude. I just thanked you for it and tell you.
Yeah,
Bro, like,
dude.
literally, someone's. I'll say it real quick, because like, I mean, I'm probably gonna tell this story a trillion times, but like, somebody told me that they saw it at the Dollar General, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I went to the Dollar General. I'm like, bro, like, if they saw it 20 minutes ago, they're not still there. So I'm like, you know what? Sure enough, the bike wasn't there anymore. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go to Panama Lane, because that's where everyone has been seeing that the bike is at. And what I ended up doing is waiting at a gas station, and sure enough, I saw it.
Right past.
Bro, my initial.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. My initial plan was to kind of tail the bike and then like call the cops whenever they pulled up to their house and be like, bro, I know for sure that's my bike. Like, come help me get it or whatever. And then we were at a red light, and it was me, my sister, and my mom in the car, and we're like, hey. And my mom actually was like, hey, like, I'm gonna hop out and I'm gonna.
She was about to go freaking crazy.
She
on
said
it.
that, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so I'm right there, and I'm like, okay, I'm driving the car, and she's like, I'm gonna go, and so we're slowing down the car. We weren't even at a full stop yet. Stop the car. My mom hops out and like body slams bro on the bike,
No way.
bro. And then I seen that happen. I was like, oh, and then I hop out, because I stayed in the car thinking like they're gonna notice someone running to them and take off. And you already know how that goes, bro.
Yeah.
If you're running on a
exactly.
bike, there's like no one's catching you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Nobody's catching bikes.
And so we ended up getting the bike back there, like straight from the street, dude. Like I ended up getting out. I was ready to tussle. Didn't really even get that deep. I got video of everything, by the way.
Golly,
And
dude.
and got the bike back, drove it back, and that's pretty much how I got it back. But it was thanks to your page, bro. That's, dude, nuts.
We got
bro.
the bike back, dude.
We got the
still
bike
got
back,
it, baby.
bro.
Let's go.
And honestly, I had plans to sell the bike. My initial plan was like, I'm gonna sell this thing, because I mean, at some point I'm gonna sell it. But now it has such a story tied to it that I'm like, I feel like I can, dude. Like, I gotta hang on to it.
Dude, you better not get rid of it. Maybe in a couple years, maybe like 5 years, 2 years, 1 years, you can get rid of it, but don't get rid of it right now, dude. Wait for the podcast episode to drop, and then we're gonna fucking get rid of it.
Are you sentimental like that? Do you like?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
you hold value in like.
Yeah, like even like something like this, like my rings, like
Damn, that's a beautiful ring.
I could sell them, you know what I mean? But I'd rather have something that means a story to me. So
Man, those are beautiful, dude.
yeah, my grandpa was a jeweler, and he wasn't. I found out last year he wasn't even my real grandpa. He was like, yeah, step grandpa. I almost tackled my mom. I said, what the hell? Why'd you lie to me my whole life? But my real grandpa, he was never there. So, but yeah, sentimental stuff means the world to me. That's why I never sold my camera either way. Like, cause I know I was going to boot camp and stuff like that, and then I was like, man, I should just get my $4,000 for it real quick. But then I was like, you know what? This thing has so many stories. I can't do it. So sentimental shit's a lot to me too. You know?
Yeah, I feel it, bro. So tell me a little bit about how everything started for you, bro. Like, cause again, from the outside looking in, I think I look at Lotto, I'm like, bro's viral, dude. I mean, come on, chat. Look at, bro's a star, dog. yoked as
I
hell.
dressed like one today.
Look at
I don't
him,
know.
dude.
I was
And that's
like, all right,
because
let me see. I had to come right for the podcast because I
Yeah.
know this is going to be a viral podcast
Absolutely.
one day. So it's like, dude, I got to look the part. You know what I mean? I know Steven looks the part, dude. You look like
Hey,
you used to
yo.
do MLB baseball.
That's
And
right. Hey,
I'm over
Brooklyn Dodgers,
here.
shout out to Judy and Zay for hooking it up with the threads. You know what I mean? That's a little bit,
But I was like, I don't know. I figured I'd try to dress a little bit right.
So, like, did you, like, whenever you post your things, like, what goes into your thought process when you're posting your videos? Like, are you ever like, damn, what are people going to think about this? Like, what if I say something that's, like, going to offend people? Like, do you ever think of that thing? Because I'm the type of person, bro, like, I mean, I have the equipment to do things, bro, but I'll get in my head about stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
my stuff is like, when you think about it, like cringe, anything cringe is going to go get you numbers. You know what I mean? I posted the most cringe video like 3 days ago. It hit like 90K. On,
damn.
and it's like because it's cringe because people are like, okay, you look stupid doing it, and I got a bunch of comments like cornball, gay, stupid, retard, you know. But this is the perfect. It's like more traction. So I think at this point in life, I don't care what people think. So, and that's the biggest thing. If you're like original and you're yourself, then what can they say? They're not doing it. So I would be
Right.
mad too, you know, if I
Yeah.
was stuck in my room playing PS5 and scared to post a retarded video. So I don't know. I think doing the cringe stuff makes everything hit different because it's like, okay, what is he doing? Why is he doing it? You know?
Yeah.
And it gets people thinking like, okay, what did he think before it? And it's like, I wasn't thinking. You know that that's the point of it. So I don't know. Cringe is like what I'm trying to go for right now. But before in Bakersfield, whenever I was doing like the bike meet stuff, I would know what's gonna set somebody off. So like if something were to happen at a bike meet, right? I would have 15 people with 15 different angles on it. So I'd say, hey, if you know this, what happened, send me a DM, and if they have it on video, then I post it and it goes viral. What I got my bike page to go viral off of is because I would do collabs with people. So I would invite people to Bakersfield that have a lot of big following, and I would collab with them, because like their followers
Wow.
can see and your followers could see. So it's not like using them, but it's like, okay, hey, you want to get my traction? I want to get
Yeah,
your
it's
traction.
networking.
Yeah, networking. So if they have a lot more followers than me, you know, and we post something that probably go viral, then I'm like, hey, even if it's sometimes I would have to pay people, I'd be like, hey, I'll pay you $10, or I would see this guy, I don't want to say his name, but like he went to one of my bike meets, and then he was doing a video at the bike meet, and I was like, hey, bro, let me buy you some beers. And then later on I messaged him, I was like, hey, bro, it's the dude who bought you beers. What's up? And
Oh, okay.
yes, kind of like
Damn. Okay. So you would like pre-plan something. Like, I see this dude.
I plot it before. Yeah, I already knew they were coming to the bike meet, but I would like make it to where, okay, you have to do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
So where did that come from in you though? Like, have you always been that way? Have you always been a go-getter? Like, where in your upbringing, when you were a child, middle of life, whatever, teenager, high school, whatever years, where did you discover that you were the type of person to like not be afraid to go and ask somebody for a collab and like, F it, bro? You know what I mean? Like, where did that come from? When did you notice that? Do you know where that came from? Do you have that?
I think whenever I was a kid, I was pretty shy. You know, I grew up on different sides. So I grew up by Silver Creek Park, and then I transferred to Del Rio, and Del Rio is in Rosedale. So
Gotcha.
so it's like I had to figure out, and I was like, I came from dressing like a cholo to looking like trying to fit in with the skaters. You know what I mean? And I was like, whatever, let me just stop trying to fit in. And I think after maybe like freshman year, I was like, you know, let me do my own thing. And then have social media in freshman year, you know, but that's what I was known as, like being funny, but that's all it was just funny.
Yeah,
You know?
dude, for sure.
So I was like, you know what, let me just do my own thing. I would wear skinny jeans with some shoes, and then a tank top. It's kind of like same. I never changed my outfits really since middle school, high school, or since high school, yeah. But
You know what? The skinny jeans tank. I remember
I
that.
have
dude.
to, bro. But I don't know. I think I was really shy whenever I was a kid. So like, after I realized that I could defend myself and stuff like that, that's whenever I was like, okay, let me go ahead and just like, what do you got to lose? You miss 9 out of 10 shots you don't take. So I'd rather take the 10. You know?
Right.
Yeah. So I seen it on the poster. So I was like, all right, let me take that 10 shot.
So you developed that just at a young age, immediately, just knowing that, hey, you got to shoot your shot
Yeah, I
at
would say
life.
in high school. Cause yeah, cause remember in high school, I mean, like there was people that are popular, but still everybody knew me because I was like doing retarded shit. You know what I mean? Fucking now I'm the only dude to bring a hamster to high school. You know,
You
make a
brought a hamster to high
video.
school?
Yes, dude. His name is Kevin. He passed away.
R.I.P. Kevin,
You
baby.
know, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Kevin.
Kevin, my boy.
But like doing cringe shit. I don't know. I was never. We didn't have social media back then, but like. I just thought it was hilarious. You know, I would do stuff that's funny, and it wasn't. It was kind of to fit in, but after a while, it was like no matter what you do, like you're not gonna fit in with them. So, but half the people that were like big in high school that we thought were gonna be pro athletes, they're all working at Amazon now anyway. So it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah,
Dude, I heard that. I heard like, hey, dude, like Amazon is like low key the high school reunion happening out there, dude.
exactly, bro. Especially in Bakersfield. That's so funny, bro. I
That's
didn't think about
hilarious,
that.
bro. Nah, dude, that's crazy, man. That I mean, like thinking about you again. I mean, I've said it a bunch of times, and I ain't trying to glaze too much, bro. Like, you know, what I mean, I don't want to like get too into that, but like, bro, like, it's cool, bro. I admire your ability to just kind of like silence everyone out of what you got going on. You know what I mean? Like, silence everybody from the things you're doing, and just pursue you.
Hell yeah,
That's
bro.
admirable, dude.
Thank you, bro.
Do you feel that? Do you feel like, damn, bro, I'm kind of making waves right now, bro. I'm kind of
No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait a couple years. I know in 3 years, I'm either gonna be a stand-up comedian. Or I'm gonna be
Okay.
really successful. I don't know what I'm gonna do,
okay.
you know, but I know that that's what I'm gonna try to do: stand-up comedy or somebody successful. Which I mean, I've had the views don't mean anything anymore.
You don't think so?
It's more not. I mean, they mean something to people that like haven't had it. But when you've had a lot of views, and even on my bike page, I would never post myself just because of cops and stuff like that. I never wanted anybody to know like who ran this page. I didn't want to get in trouble or anything like that. But after a while, it started bringing trouble regardless, so it didn't matter. But it's like, yeah, I think views and all that stuff that all fade away. You know, I stopped using my original page for like almost a year now, and like not really many people hit me back up, you know. But on my page that I'm doing, my personal one, I'm going crazy, and that's because like, all right, people only go with the trends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People only wanted to be my friend whenever I was leading the bike meets, all that stuff. They don't reach out like that, you
Oh,
know?
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it
once people
happens.
seen that you stopped kind of doing the bike meets, they're kind of like,
Yeah, they're like, it was a cool little phase, you know what I mean?
damn, okay.
Yeah, I mean, which was a phase, so, but it was a fun phase. You know, I never had. That's the reason why I got this little in trouble a lot. Is because
Let's
of the
talk
bike
about it,
meets,
bro.
you know what I mean?
Let's talk about it. Let me.
Shoot. Okay. Yeah. So in Bakersfield, like, I was looking on Instagram and I just bought a Honda Grom, right?
Okay.
And so I was looking for people to ride with, and whenever I was looking for people, they would have 10 car meet pages, right? And then there was not one bike meet page. And I was like, huh, what can I do, right? So I made an Instagram, and I was like, all right, Bakersfield bike meets. It says it right in the friggin' title. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong with it, right? If you're looking for bike meets in Bakersfield, you know where to go. So I ended up using that, and like my first meet, I only had like 10 people. And then going out, I did it for like 2 years or something like that. But I started posting people. I started doing collabs, and people love. That's the one thing. One person's gonna love the most is to like talk about themselves or feel themselves. I've never really talked about myself, so like, this is great, dude. I don't even lie. This is great. I'm like, okay, cool, you know. But I would always like post the people who come to my bike meets and like make them feel special because everybody wants to feel special. And after a while, it just started growing, and it was never a problem, which I don't know. It was kind of a good problem because to me, all publicity is good publicity. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's bad. I don't care if you see mini bikes on my thing. You know, people were talking shit like, oh, they're going to get hurt. They look retarded. But it's like, okay, you're still bringing more people to the bike meets, you know?
Yeah.
They went from 100 to 300 in like a couple months. And when I started, it was like kind of getting close to COVID. And once COVID popped off, bam, I had a COVID write out. And I was like, all
That's
right,
cool, dude.
yes, and it just went crazy, bro. I was so happy about it. Because nobody had jobs. I mean, I never really had it. After I lost my security job, leaving the site, right? I left I was working for Allied, and like I left.
You lost your security job?
Hell yeah, I lost every job I had, bro. Yes, dude, what do you mean? So I was like, I lost that job because I left. I was supposed to be there till like 7 a.m. and it was a Sunday, and I left at like 1 a.m., right? Because I know no supervisor pulled
Oh, so you dipped out early on the
I
job.
did that for like half a year straight, right?
Nuh-uh.
Leave it on company time. All right? Leave it on company. But the one time, bro, it's like, I had a bad feeling about it. I was like, man, I shouldn't have left. I was kept checking my phone.
Oh shoot.
And
man.
so Sunday when I left that Sunday, I got a call Monday morning and they're like, hey, you don't need to come back to work. I was like, damn. Mom, I'm home. Baby. That's it.
snap.
Yeah. I
They
was
told
like,
you, hey,
yeah, they're like,
don't
yo,
even come through.
no more. Because I had a lot of write-ups because of the food max. You know what I mean? Because I was...
Okay, well, damn, maybe not interrupt your story. I got questions galore, dog. Because I'm thinking, I mean, I was seeing what you were doing, bro. And honestly, I'm like, this dude's got to be like the best, like,
Top flight.
yeah,
Top
flight
flight.
security,
Top
dog. Like,
flight.
anybody trying to take anything from this store? Hell no. We got a lot open in the business,
I
bro.
miss doing that.
So
was
what,
so
like,
fun.
what did they not like about what you were doing?
Because I was too hands-on. So you weren't supposed to put your hands on people. You know what I mean? But I was like, fuck it. I'm only going to pay 15 an hour. I'm risking my life for this shit. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, cool. So my biggest thing was just taking the videos. I had like my iPhone. And I would turn it to my left and keep it on my chest whenever I did it. And like, I would get excited when I see people steal, right? Because I was like, dude, this is a video right here. You know what I mean? So, but after a while, they started watching my videos, and then I started getting right up. They told me no more videos, and I was like, we'll see about that. You know what I mean? I just kept going because the employees love me. They were saving, like, I'll collect the receipts, and it'd be like $900 a week they would save just off stolen stuff. And they weren't mad at me. The employees love me. And I worked on the, what was it, Californian Union. So Californian Union is like really ghetto, or union. So
Yeah, for sure. I know where that's at.
pretty much with that, a lot of the people that were stealing were still beefing with the employees. So it'd be like, I wouldn't say no gang names, but yeah, they'd be like different gangs are beefing with the employees that are in a certain gang. And they would have problems with them too. We'd like, whenever I try to fight them, they would jump in. They'd be like, what's up, fool? You know what I mean? Just straight up Bakersfield shit, dude. It was hilarious.
Damn,
yeah.
crazy, dude.
But I enjoyed it because but after a while, because I first worked at Union because nobody wanted to work there. And then I worked at, Fairfax? So, and they had me bouncing around Union and Fairfax. So I was going to the ghettoest parts, like risking my life for those little meat slabs of ribs. You know what I mean? And I was still getting that 15 an hour, but it was fun. You know what I mean? I wasn't doing it for the money because I never really went to college. But for the time being, I was like, all right, cool. This is hilarious. And I was living with a girlfriend. She didn't charge me rent. So I was like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? I'm pocketing $500 a week. And that was a lot to me at the time. I was like, all right, cool. But now it's like, damn, I look back at like the stuff I did and it's like, I was really doing some stupid shit for that $500 a week, but so do prostitutes, right? You know what I mean? They make their money. So I was like, all right, cool. I was happy about it. I can't complain.
That's funny, dog.
Yeah, bro. It was nice.
So you did top flight security. You did that for a cool little minute.
Top flight, yes.
And then after that, then you did the bike meets.
Yeah, about during that I did the bike meets.
Oh, so you were still doing like
I was doing security while I was doing the bike meets. So
snap. Okay.
I would even tell my boss, so shout out to AJ, he's my old supervisor. Thanks for firing me, dude. All right, I wouldn't have had the successful person I am now without you firing me. But yeah, he would be cool with me like if Friday, Saturday, or I would have to take like Saturdays off because I host them on Saturdays or Sundays. So he would give me those, and after a while I started following my bike meet page, so the supervisors would tell me when they seen stuff on my page, but I didn't care. What the hell? We're not FBI investigators, dude. We're working Allied Security. Ain't no real shit about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would get like Saturday or Sunday off and have my bike meets. It only hosts like once every 2-3 weeks, cause it's like you can't give somebody something every weekend, you know, and expect them to show up every weekend, you know. So I'd make it special to where like people are like, all right, you got something to look forward to. I'd start promoting it 2 weeks before that, you know.
Bro, let me ask you, where did you learn about all this like strategy, dude? Because I mean, you're talking about like you promoted 2 weeks before.
Yeah. Well, my mom, she has a degree in marketing. So so she was like, that's the same thing with my sponsors. Like all my merch that people bought, instead of me paying $1,500 for all that merch, I would get 5 sponsors, right? Each sponsor would pay $200. 2, 4, 6, 8, 1,000, right? You want a spot? I'm gonna bring 200 people to your location, right? And it's a guarantee I'll bring at least 200, and you're gonna get a whole spot on the shirt. Just pay me that $200. So for a business owner, even if it's a taco shop out here, okay, you're bringing me 200 people on a Sunday to my shop on a least busy day, and you get to be on a shirt forever. It was like a no go, and I would take that $1,000 I made and take it to KV Print, my boy Con. Yeah, I think it's been a while, but I would take it to him, and then he would make the shirts for me, and after then I would turn that $1,000 that I got from everybody else and make it into 3,000 and turn it into 5,000. Just keep going. I would do different merch, so I had shirts, I made jerseys, just a bunch of different crap. But after a while, I was like, I got to think of it like a business. You know what I mean? If I'm taking those risks, which I did take a lot of risks, then I might as well, because people get hurt at my bike meets all the time. And it's like, at the end of the day, they're not going to look at, okay, who was there? They're going to look like, okay, who was the host of it? So that's kind of like,
that is true.
yeah, people were always trying to blame me for stuff like that. And that's kind of like the reason why I stopped. But while I was there, it was good.
So I remember that whenever you had your page, you ended up having like an actual brick and mortar. Like I think that's the term. I don't know if that's the actual term, but you had like an actual physical location.
Yeah. I made it. So I reached out to this guy. His name is Chuck, and he had like an empty like pretty much space. And I was like,
Did you
hey,
know him before that? Like before?
never knew him, but it's all about like how you could talk to people, right? So I went up to him, and he's been in the bike game for 50 years. And I was like, hey, this is what I do. I have bike meets. These are my insights. This is what I could do for you. So I was like, but I just need a space. You know what I mean? He's like, all right, cool. You know what? Let me get this room cleared out. Let me make you a space. So I ended up opening a bike shop. And he was cool with that at first. You know what I mean? But after a while, you keep seeing, like, your biggest supporters are going to be kids. Like, in anything. They would come and they would be the ones that spending money, not the old dudes, because the kids, it's like if you have something you want to post to go viral, you're gonna expect the kids to repost it versus the older people, you know. So I would always trust in my kids, but I put a lot of effort into them. So anytime I seen them, I gave way more shit than I sold. You know what I mean?
Really?
But yeah, but I mean, it doesn't matter to me. It was just money, you know. And I would have the kids, all their bikes. A lot of them still send me pictures, and they have like the Baker Show Bike Mix stickers on their bikes and stuff like that. And it's
yeah,
like,
man.
And seeing them grow up, it's been like 3 or 4 years, and it's like, man, I really made an impact. I feel like on the city. So,
dude,
that was something I was proud of. You know, no matter what, nobody could say that they didn't meet a really good friend that they're still in contact with because of my page. You know what I mean? Anybody, anybody, they could be like, all right, name one person that you still don't talk to from the bike meets, and they're gonna know somebody. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, shit, my buddy Elokes, he got married off this chick that came to the bike meets. I was like, dude, I was like, bro, where is my flowers, bro? You know what I mean? I was looking for that.
So he met his partner from the bike, going to the bike meets.
He met his wife, and she had ended up pulling to the bike meets. I remember because everybody wanted to hit on her, right? But he was the first one. He was like, you know what I mean?
First.
He got the first.
He got to the cookie first.
If you ain't first, you're last, baby. You know, I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, my buddy, he ended up getting married. But the only thing that sucks is like, I think it was like my last bike meet. I already had the cops on me for a little bit, but I was dating somebody. All right, but I was dating somebody, and then she was upset because I didn't want to invite her to none of the bike meets, right? So she had to call the cops on me, the last bike meet, right? And I have the videos. I can send them to you later. But like,
Damn. So
the
there was
cops
a
already knew
definitive.
about.
There was a definitive
Yes,
last bike
yes,
meet.
yes. And then I already had trouble. I already had like two or three misdemeanors at that point, and I was going to court and stuff like that. I met a lawyer through Instagram, and I was like, hey, instead of me paying you the $5,000, I was like, how about I have a community of 5,000 people and that they're all gonna see your stuff. And at the time, Instagram wasn't like how it is now. You know what I mean? To where like if you're one stunt writer, you could bring a lot of traction. Even though they did, but it's like, would you rather reach out to one person's traction or a whole community? So off of me, they made at least 20 grand. Shout out William Kroger. He was a great lawyer. He made sure that I went from a felony to like a misdemeanor to nothing after I did 2 years probation. Yeah, so shout out William Kroger. Great guy. He's a 420 lawyer, but he took my case on. He was like, I was like, all right, cool, I'll take him,
Yeah, bro. So I remember going to one of the bike meets, and we were rolling around town, just having a great time on the bikes, and it was crazy because there was a group of folks that were kind of bundled up, and we are just all like taking over the streets, bro. It was the funnest, coolest experience like ever, right? And there was this guy who ends up like trying to pop a wheelie.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened with how he was trying to do that wheelie, but the bike comes down. He ended up doing a crash. Good thing he ended up falling.
I probably posted the crash. I'm saying. I
probably
probably asked the people who were going. I was like, hey, dude,
who got the video?
Yeah, who's got the video? That's the biggest thing. But what happened?
Funny, bro. Yeah. So he did end up falling. It wasn't nothing too terrible. I remember being like what happens now? I ended up taking off, and I didn't see what ended up happening. But thankfully, it wasn't too crazy of a crash. But that's just like the one story that I've heard. Like, I'm sure, like, what's the craziest thing that's happened in those bike meets, bro? Because we were talking about it earlier. Like, as you think about the answer to that question, we were talking about it when we were preparing for this podcast, and how you would like strategically plan your bike meets.
Yeah, I would. Whenever I'm looking for a meetup spot or end spot, I would do it smart to where I wasn't like, because the police helicopters, they can't fly over airports, and I guarantee you, like every towards the end of it, every bike meet had a police helicopter on us. So I would do it to where we're gonna end by airport. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, but different stuff like that. Like my mom, she helped me out a lot with it. I know it sounds crazy, but my mom helped me out a lot with it.
Hey, bro, my mom helped me get the bike back. She's the one who pushed off the
exactly.
Shout out to all the moms out there, bro. Like, for real.
But my mom, she was like, well, you're taking a lot of risk for nothing, son. She's like, you got a future, you need to protect your future and stuff like that. And like, at the point, I was like, oh, whatever, whatever happens. But she's like, you need to start thinking about it. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna plan our middle spot. I'm gonna plan our meet spot and our end spot. The meet spot didn't really matter because they could start chasing us all they want. But are they gonna follow us the whole time? Maybe they'll follow somebody that separates off like a retard. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you separated from the pack and you got chased by the cops, that's on you. I mean, because we would tell us, hey, I would always put on my story like, yo, don't leave the pack. All right, you're pretty much getting in trouble. And I still,
so that's the code, is stay with the pack.
Yeah,
stay out of
and
trouble.
like this one dude, he ended up leaving the pack, and then he ended up getting like 2 or 3 felonies from it. And I was like, damn, bro, like he still has a felony. He reminds me of him, right? He every day, like not every day, but like every few months he'll reach out to me, and he's working the oil fields still. But he was like, man, I wish I would have stuck with the pack, because I was like, bro, you know what I mean? That was my fault. All right, I told you, you wanted to be a retard and separate on once we get to white lane. It's like, dude, you can go to your house, but the cops are going to follow you to your house. They're not going to follow us to, Hobby Airport, Union Airport. I promise you. So I kind of was like, I try to do it strategically, but people still aren't going to listen, So, and I remember, what was it? I think it was my last bike meet that I had. It was the weekend before. So, no, it was like a couple days before. So my buddy Christian Reynosa, R.I.P. Christian. So he had came to my house, right? Cause I lived with my mom at the time, and he had a van, like his white van. He was like, all right, hey, I'm gonna come to Bakersfield, and I'm gonna come ride with you guys because I can't make the ride this weekend. And I was like, oh fuck. All right, whatever. Right. So I was like, all right, unload your bike. We ended up riding throughout the city, and we were in a pack of like 5 people, right? And then I don't know why, but we had the cops on us. It was on Panama Lane, and then he ended up splitting off, and I was like, we kind of lost him for the whole night. And then so whenever it was on one of those other like live streams on Facebook. And I don't really get on Facebook like that, but they were telling me, okay, one biker got in an accident, and I was like, what the fuck? So he had came and we were riding with each other, and whenever I got home that day, cause we didn't know where he was. He took off, I guess, up to the bluffs, past that, just running from the cops. The rest of us got away. You know what I mean? Either way, we're gonna stick together. It was me and a couple of people, and then so when he split off, I went back to my house, right? And I had a bike meet in like 2 days, and because he said he couldn't make it, so he was gonna just come down for the weekend, or come down during the week. And I had a bike meet in 2 days, and when I came home, I seen on Facebook, my buddy sent me a video that he died, and I was like, what the fuck, right? So imagine you just invited somebody to your house,
Man.
he passed away, his van's outside of your house right now, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm the cause, you know what I mean? But I invited him to my house. I mean, that wasn't my, I mean, everybody's a grown man at the end of the day. You know, he's over
Right.
21 and stuff like that, but it's like, that kind of like hit me, and I was like, damn, I really got to cancel this bike meet. But I knew it was going to be my last bike meet because I had a lot of cops like watching my page and a lot of pressure from that. Like if I posted a mixed spot, cops would already be there. But that whole day I was just like sitting outside, just like looking at his van. I was like, damn, like I felt bad, you know, like I really felt bad, and that was kind of, it hurt a lot because he was the only person that died. And like with the kids, R.I.P. Giovanni. He was already in the mini bike scene before I started my bike meet page, but the bike meet page just made the mini bike scene bigger. So he ended up, it wasn't about a ride that I hosted, but he ended up passing away riding just a random day, and he got hit by a car. And it's like, I had so many messages about people like, hey, you need to fucking stop what you're doing. You need to, you know what I mean? You're trying to make the kids get in trouble, stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, that was never my goal. My goal is to bring the city together. It's not to separate us. So I had a couple different deaths, maybe like 4 or 5 of them. And then, but Christian really hit me because I had to sit and watch his family come knock on my door and ask for the van keys, and the police
that must have been
come.
tough.
Yeah. And when the police came, they were like, we already know about what's going to go on this weekend. You need to make sure you don't have that event. And I was like, shit, you know what I mean? I can't stop. I mean, I already have people coming from San Diego, Sacramento, a bunch of different places. And it's like, I'm not supposed to, I can't cancel the event because one person, that I care about Christian, and it still kind of hurts, but, I can't cancel my event because of what happened. So that was whenever I had my last bike meet. And at that last bike meet, it was like a fucking party. You know what I mean?
So you went out on a bang.
I went out with the bang, bro. I had to go out with the bang because I was on probation. And that same night, I would never bring, if I'm ending the bike meet, I would always travel solo, going back home. So I had my buddy Sosa, and I would go to his house. And I would pretty much, after the bike meet, I would go and park my car because I had a car and a bike. So I'd go and drive my motorcycle and take it back to his take it back to his place, put my motorcycle in the garage, drive my car home. But by the time I went to his house, parked in the garage, and like right whenever I was finishing up, because we were chilling a little bit talking about it, I got a call from my mom. She's like, "Hey, the police are here." And I was like, "No, fuck." So that same night, I took off to Arizona because I already had a warrant.
Whoa.
So,
okay.
You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, let me go off to Arizona. And then I hit up my grandma, and I was like, hey, grandma, can I stay there for a couple weeks? And then my grandma got tired of me fast. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, yeah, I thought you loved me, grandma. All right, but I went to my grandma's house, let stuff cool off. I even deleted the bike meet page. I pretty much hop off social media and stuff like that. And then when I was in Arizona, I just waited because I already had a court date. That was before I hosted the meets, before Christian died. And I was like, damn, I gotta lay low. So I ended up going to my grandma's for a little bit. I picked up a job off Craigslist with this one guy, and we were painting houses, shit like that. You know what I mean? And did that for a few weeks. And then my grandma got mad at me because I was bringing girls over. So she ended up getting mad at me and telling me, "Hey."
Oh, so grandma didn't like that you were bringing over.
Grandma didn't like the sauce.
She didn't.
Grandma didn't like the sauce.
Grandma didn't like too much that you were bringing the ladies over, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, what do you in Arizona? There's like nothing to do, so women are the biggest thing to do in Arizona. You know, when you don't got nothing else. All right, cool. Let me go ahead and. But my grandma got mad, and she ended up kicking me out too. And by that time, we were already living. My mom had already moved to Houston, so I even have a home in Bakersfield. And I was like, oh shit. So that's whenever I was like, all right, let me see what my mom's doing. And then I went because I lived with my grandma for like 2-3 months, and I didn't get on the bike meet page for about 2-3 months. I didn't even post about it because there's so much heat, and I wasn't trying to get in any more trouble than I already was in. So. I hit up my mom, and then I bought a flight to Houston. And then, yeah, ever since then, I was in Houston, just checking out the world. From there, I went to a bunch of different places. I stopped trying to do hosting, and I started doing filming. So I started doing, I went to Puerto Rico, New York, Miami. I went to GVO twice, Miami. There's a bunch of different places I went to, but, yeah, I started doing it. I was like, I'm not going to host anymore because that's just more trouble for me. You know, I'd rather be the participant because I'm going to live with that shit if somebody gets hurt. And I think that was God watching me. You know what I mean? Like, nobody died at my bike meet. You know, but people got hurt. But it's part of life, baby. You want to have fun, we're going to get hurt.
Facts.
But it's like, nobody ever died at my bike meets. And that's one thing, like, my mom was nervous about. You know, somebody getting seriously injured at my bike meets. And I'm glad it didn't happen, you know. Stuff like that.
Damn, dude. Like, I mean, there's a quote, a saying that says, "Heavy is the head that wears the crown," my boy. I mean, I can hear the weight of the responsibility that it was to have that page, bro.
Yeah,
like,
it was a lot.
Do you think there were lessons out of that journey that you can take and that you apply to your life now?
Hell yeah. Don't run from the cops, okay? Like, I mean, I'm not saying don't run from them, but goddamn, be smart about it. I would post where we're meeting, you know? So it's like, I put a lot of pressure on myself.
But why did the cops why were they so upset about it? I mean, you said no one ever died at your meets. Like, what was it? I mean...
Because we always ran from them. But so whenever we're always running from them, it's like, they're like, okay, we don't respect them. It's like, why are we going to stop and get arrested? Nobody has plates. Probably a lot of the bikes are, you know what I mean? Don't got to say too much, but it's like a lot of the bikes have problems. And so it's like, why would we stop and risk what we got going on when we're just having 2 or 3 hours of fun, you know, for the cops to say, okay, we stopped them. You know, you're not going to stop 250 people. You can stop 2 people. There's going to be the 2 dumbasses that split off. That's about it. You're not stopping the whole fucking pack.
So when it was time to actually like get running and stuff, like you knew the plan is we're beelining straight to the airport.
Yeah. Well, like if I knew they were already on us, what we do is we just take different side streets. So we'd still stay in one pack, but they're only gonna keep chases because the cops. I don't know how many hours they can run for without having to like refuel and stuff like that. So I would look that stuff up before the bike meet and see like, okay, how many, you know, where's the spot that's most getting hit by the helicopters? Because we could outrun cars and bikes all day, but the helicopter ain't no outrunning that motherfucker. So I was like, all right, cool, you know. So and I would start the meet, and I would rather the cops started following us right when we started the meet versus right when we're ending it. But even if they did it when they're ending it, you know, we're gonna end by airport no matter what. But
whether the cops follow or not, we're at the airport.
We're by the airport, yeah. The most convenient one was Union Airport. It's somewhere on Union. I forgot, but it's like, hey, you guys can't even come in here. And I had this buddy who I'm not gonna say his name, but he would tell me like, yo, bring all your trucks here. Everybody come right here. At the end of it, you guys could barbecue, do whatever you want. And it's like, okay, cool. Shit, a lot of people from the community knew me, and Bakersfield's just a small town, so I'd have everybody park their stuff right there, and it wouldn't be no problems. They're gonna chase that one person that runs off, or the cops would only chase the person that's doing wheelies. But if somebody did split off, we would do strategically. So, say you had the cops on your ass too much, right? And you don't want the whole pack. So then, all right, we'd have a pack of 5 go with you. I'd always make sure it's at least 5 people. So if the cops are less likely to check, they're going to chase a pack of 5, but they're not going to catch them all. And we would always make sure you go on the railroad tracks or different stuff like that. Because on Plans Road, once you hit the railroad tracks, the cops can't go over there, even if they're on motorcycles. So I would just play it smart at that point. You know what I mean? I was using the airports, railroad tracks, dirt roads. And
so wait, what about the railroad tracks? Could the cops not do? I mean, because airports, that kind of makes sense, right? But like the railroads, what
Well,
about that? Didn't allow
first
them
off,
to go there.
a police car cannot go on the railroad tracks. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you guys would ride on the track?
Fuck yeah.
Oh hell
Yeah.
dude.
I mean, you're gonna take the
Nuts,
risk.
bro,
You might
see?
as well do it.
Risk it for the biscuit, baby.
Risk it for the biscuit, baby. RR. So we were end up, yeah, like even in police motorcycles, they're not gonna go on the railroad and just be because all the fucking rocks.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
no matter what, they're gonna let us go at that point. So I always had a plan. A lot of people got in a lot of trouble, including myself. But yeah, it ended up working out. For the most part. At least for me, damn it. All right, but I was hosting it, so I took the biggest risk. If somebody died, they could have sued me, for a lot of money.
Did you know those risks while you were doing it? Because like I'm hearing you now.
When I first started, no. When I first started, I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, hey, let's go have bike meets. Let's have everybody hang out together. But now that I think about it, like it's like, damn. I took some penitentiary chances, dude. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, whatever. We're gonna figure out how things are gonna go. And yeah, for a while I didn't think about it, but after Giovanni died and Christian died, Giovanni had nothing to do with me at all because he was riding by himself and stuff like that. But when Christian died, it was like, I was like, this is gonna be my last bike meet. And people were still pressuring me to, have more and stuff like that, or not cancel the last bike meet. But it's like, dude, like, you're not taking the risk,
Yeah, man. I mean, they can want what they want, dude. But it's one person whose name's on the line, dude. You know
exactly. What I mean? My whole future is on the line. But I mean, for the time I did, I mean, no matter what in Bakersfield, people can't say that they never met a best friend, that you didn't have the time of your life at my bike meets, whether it's running from the cops, doing wheelies, watching falls, watching a few fights. I mean, things were fun.
Absolutely.
So I think everybody who went to my bike meets, they would not take it back because that was a time of their life. And it was a time in my life too, but I was like, damn, I'm the one hosting it, so I'm not trying to get in trouble anymore.
Yeah.
After, I was like, for a while, I was like, all right, fuck it, let me get in trouble. But then once the court fees started hitting, I had to pay for a couple different bike repossessions and stuff like that, because the cops would follow me home. They'd be smart after a while. They'd follow me back. It's like my last bike meet, how my mom was like, hey, the cops are here for you. I wasn't even at my house, but they knew where to go, so they were waiting at the house for me. So it's like, damn, and by that time,
so they just knew where you lived already at that point.
They knew everything. I was like, damn it,
that's
dude.
Crazy. So yeah, it was tough.
Yeah.
You were put in a bind, huh?
Yeah, but I mean,
Wow.
for the time, it was cool, bro. I enjoyed myself. Couldn't complain. I mean, I brought a lot of people together. Brought my name up and brought all the kids. I really care about the kids having fun, because they would come out to the bike meets at first just to watch us, right? And then I was like, you know what? Let me start hosting meets for them. So I had pedal bike meets, maybe host like.
Oh, okay. So you started to expand for the youngsters.
I was like, let me do pedal bike meets. Different stuff like that. And then those kids were little badass kids, little babies kids. I swear, they would go to the gas stations. I remember one time I took all these kids to the gas station, right? And they like ramsacked the gas. They stole like $170 for it from the gas station, basically all Gatorades and chips, shit like that. But I had a like the same time when I see them all run out, the dude, he's like, "What is your problem? You know that they are not doing good to do." I was like, "Ah, shit, it was my fault, right?" I was like, "But listen, bud, whatever they stole, I'm gonna pay for it." You know, I gave him like $200 cash, and he wasn't mad at me. So I was like, "All right, cool." But yeah, these kids are bad too. But the part of the reason they're bad is because their parents. It wasn't their fault, you know. So I met a lot of kids that really didn't have nothing, so I would try to get them bikes or stuff like that, just bicycles. And even the same kids now, they work better. They make more money than me, you know. They're making over 100 grand a year, just doing something that's positive with them. A lot of the kids, like I said, they'll be from Oildale. A lot of kids from Oildale, they really touched my heart. And Panama Lane, because they didn't have parents, so they wouldn't have any money for bikes. And I'll make sure like, okay, to put something on my Instagram, let's try to get them bikes. And people would donate all the time, so I was like, fuck it, you got a new bike, kid, you know.
That's cool.
I would just try to make an impact. After a while, I was like, okay, I know I could have 300 people come to my bike meet, you know, but that's gonna bring a lot of stress on me. But what if I just start doing more positive stuff? Like, why don't I just start giving away bikes? Why don't I just start, you know, having pedal bike meets? And it meant a lot because those kids, they would show up deep as hell, you know, and I didn't expect it, but they would show more support. So I was like, okay, that's where it is. You got to make sure that you include the kids because they want to feel there. It's like you imagine you're watching a famous baseball player, right? Your whole life, right? But now once the baseball player starts watching you, it's gonna be like, huh, that's special. What if the baseball player started watching your podcast? You're like, oh, okay, makes sense, you know. So I was always like, after a while, I was like, fuck it, it's just bike meets. You know what I mean? Let somebody else host them. And now people still try to host bike meets in Bakersfield, but it doesn't go how it used to, you know, because you got to have smart hosts. You got to have somebody who knows what they're doing, like street smart. So yeah.
I know that those days, I mean, they seem to be behind you, right? But like, do you think that you can like, not saying you would do one, right? But like, if you were to attempt to do it, do you think you can pop off another bike meet and let it pop off? Like, you know, would it be what it was? Or do you think that those times, because that was near COVID times. I mean, I think COVID changed a lot about the way that life works and stuff like that. But do you think that that'd be something you could recreate if you even wanted to?
I think it could be. It couldn't be as big. I could probably get half the crowd because everybody's all grown up now, you know? Like, even the people during COVID, everybody was getting a COVID check at the time, so nobody really cared. But, like, I think it could be big, but it's never going to be what it was, you know? And I think what it was so special. That's why I'll never host another bike meet, you know what I mean? Never again in my life. But for the time being, it was fun. So, but I'll never host it again because it's like when people make like a second movie, like say Jurassic Park 2, you know what I mean? It was never as great as Jurassic Park 1, but you got to make sure that you have it to where, okay, I made my mark, you know, let somebody else try it. We're going to see how it's going. And I care about the bike life a lot. I wish that somebody would like step up and try to make it like really big how it used to be, but I don't think anybody cared the way I did.
Would you ride again? Are you riding now?
Right?
Like riding, like do you ride a bike now? Like would you ride again?
I don't want to ride again because I like doing stupid shit. So I can't get arrested anymore. Now that I'm in the military, I'm not trying to take those chances right now. I'm trying to do the right thing. I had my whole, you know, a lot of years to do stupid shit. So I was trying to do the right thing now. But I mean, I would ride again. But I just know myself. If I see cop lights, then I'm going to get excited. You know, I'm not going to want to pull over right away. So,
dude, there was this one time that I was riding the bike, and after this, we'll move on to some other topics here. But there was one time that I was riding a motorcycle, and I saw some lights, and I think that this is kind of, I don't think every bike person out there is like this, but I mean, most of them I feel like are like this. I mean, at least the people that I've spoken to, where they're like, bro, I mean, do you really need insurance on that thing, bro? Like, because if you ever need insurance,
no,
you know what I mean? If you ever need insurance, dog, like, you probably not around to actually, like, you know what I mean? Like, once you get into some sort of bike wreck, it's like that's it. So I see lights, I take off.
Yeah,
I take off going. Now, the
That's the
horrible
best
thing
part.
about this, I paid my fine, dude. And what I mean by that is that, like, as I'm taking off, I had about $600 in my backpack. I was about to go deposit it in the bank.
Yeah.
And I think a zipper was like real loose. And I remember in the midst of like booming, taking off, I remember seeing like a flutter
the fucking money
of
going.
cash. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to go back and get that.
Yeah, I've lost more in the bike. Like, I've lost more than I gained, but I did. You know, you can't pay for the memories.
The memories and the experiences.
The experiences, yeah. I mean, people still hit me up to this day. They're like, "Hey, when are you gonna have another bike meet?" Fucking never, dude. All right, you host a bike meet. Let me know about the stress that you're going through.
Does that kind of thing bother you when people ask you about that? It's kind of like, bro, like, because for me, I mean, I feel like a lot of people define me by the trumpet. I mean, you probably know this, you probably don't know this, but like a lot of my life I spent traveling all over the world, and I'm grateful for that. But I was traveling doing the trumpet, and so like there's a lot of people that even ask me to this day. I mean, even asking, like, why don't you play anymore? Like, are you gonna play trumpet again? Is that something you're gonna do? And it's like yeah, sure, I like that, and I'll do it, and I do it whenever like I feel like moved to do it. But that's not who I'm. Like, that's not who I'm. I'm more than just that.
Yeah.
Do you feel in any type of way like people try to define you based on that? I mean, because that was
and that's was like, it's like, dude, that was only like, that's just a phase. You know what I mean? If I could bring 200, 300 people together, you know, in a week, what can I do for God? What can I, you know what I mean? One day I'm gonna be a motivational speaker, something nice. All right, you know what I mean? And that's 200 or 300 is nothing. You know, if you see an Instagram post and you see 200 views, you're like, huh, okay, he doesn't, you know, he's not really doing nothing. But whenever you see the amount of people 200 or 300 people is, it's like, dude, you're touching lives, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that it's a big thing to not look at like the numbers, you know, look at the impact.
Yeah.
So I really fuck with it though.
So moving forward, because we spent a lot of time talking about the bike stuff, and that's definitely something that I think is, yeah, that's definitely something that's pretty cool. And there's more that I want to talk about, you know, for example, like you and coming to Houston and doing all these things, and now currently how you have spent some time, like, you know, I mean, you're in the military now, and the stuff you got going on now. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. Everybody that's watching, we're going to go ahead and take a quick little break for the ads, because we got to pay the bills, baby. All right. So we're going to go on the ads, and I'm not saying, you know, let me not even say that. All right, let's let this roll, and we'll be back with Lotto after the break. So let's go. Fellas, let's talk real estate for a second, because if you're thinking about buying a home or an investment property, you need somebody who actually has your back, not someone who's just trying to make a sale, someone who keeps you protected throughout the entire process. And that's exactly why you should work with Frania Lepe. She's a Houston realtor who takes your security seriously, financially, and legally. She makes sure you understand every step, every number, and every piece of paperwork, so you never feel lost or taken advantage of. She's big on transparency. She'll tell you what's a good deal and what's not, and what traps you should avoid. And whether you're more comfortable in English or Spanish, she's fully bilingual, so nothing gets lost in translation. No surprises, no hidden terms. Whether you're buying your first place or upgrading to something bigger, Franny makes sure that you move confidently and safely. She keeps the process smooth, clear, locked in from start to finish. So if you want a realtor who treats your money and your future with the same care she'd give her own, contact Frania Lepe. Her is at Real Estate with Frania on all platforms. That's at Real Estate with Frania on all platforms. Secure the right place with someone who's really in your corner. Let's go. Listen up for a second. If you're planning to tie the knot, whether it's a big wedding, something low key, or even a last minute, let's just do this, you need an officiant who keeps the ceremony smooth, personal, and actually enjoyable. That's where Manny Matrimony comes in. He's a professional marriage officiant based right here in Houston, and he brings that perfect balance of personality and professionalism. No awkward scripts, no boring energy. He works with you to build a ceremony that feels like you. And here's the best part nobody tells you. A great officiant is the difference between a ceremony that feels stiff and one that feels meaningful and fun. And that's what makes it unforgettable for everyone. He handles everything from personalized vows to making sure your paperwork is squared away. And if you need him outside of Houston, he can travel too, just a small additional fee. So if you're ready to secure your wedding day and lock in someone who will make the moment count, hit him up at 661-800-8654. That's 661-800-8654. Don't wait until the last minute. Dates fill up fast. If you're watching this video and you're looking to advertise your brand, hit up seventhaura seventhauraonline@gmail.com so that we can get your brand out there to the masses. With this platform, your brand will reach hundreds of thousands and even millions of people. So reach out, seventhauraonline@gmail.com to get your brand out there. Let's go. All right, we are back to the Background Noise podcast. We're at the second half of this podcast. It's been a pretty great conversation so far. Y'all already know I had to meet my boy Lotto with the cowboy hat. I really should have had this on since the beginning, but you know that's all right. You know what I mean? Oh, that's all right. That's gonna stay right there. We still recording audio? Yeah, we are. Okay. So you know, great stories, dude, by the boy Lotto. Again, happy to have you on the pod, my boy. Like, super happy to have you on here, dude.
Glad to be here, dude.
This is cool, bro.
Yeah,
this is cool.
awesome.
I want to just kind of like take a moment real quick to kind of like get the jitters out. I don't know if you have jitters or not. Maybe it's just me, bro. I don't know. This is a new thing that I got going on here, but it's kind of like I'm working on being like a natural conversationalist. Like, for a living, I feel like I conversate for a living. That's what I do, bro. That's all I do. But every time the camera goes on, I feel like a lot of people all of a sudden kind of change. Like, something changes. Like, it goes from just being like oh, natural conversation, like, hey bro, what's going on, how you doing, what's going on, to all of a sudden like so like whatever. I'm working on that on myself, you know what I mean? So like, let's get the jitters out of here, you know what I'm saying? Oh, there you go.
There it is, man.
But yeah, we definitely talked a lot about you and how the bike meets and the impact that had on you, and definitely how the impact it had on the community. And we've talked about all the different people that were impacted by you doing those things, including myself. I mean, helping me get my bike back. But since then, you know, life for you has obviously moved on. Life is a continual journey. I like to talk about life as a wave, bro. It's like a river. Like, you don't know it, dude, but like when we're born, we're just thrust into this river, and it's like, you better swim, you better get your head above water, or you're sinking, dog. Like, it's crazy, you know? And so the bike meets happened. You did all those things. You kind of got out of that. You had to take some time away to be with grandma in Arizona and let things blow over. All of a sudden, mom's out here in Houston. And then you spent some time here. I remember seeing you come to Houston. I was like, what a small world, dude.
All right.
You know what I mean? That's crazy. There's a couple of people some other people that I know from Bakersfield that had plans at least to come out here, which was crazy.
Never came.
But then I seen you I seen you doing stand-up comedy, dude. And you even mentioned earlier right now how, like, dude, in a year, I'm either going to be doing stand-up comedy or it's going to be some other.
3 years.
In 3 years.
3 years.
You're going to be doing stand-up comedy. So like, where's that come from, bro? You know what I mean? Like, what's like, how does that go? Like, how many minutes do you have? I
all together, like, I think I have like 10 minutes. But
For real?
yes, but a solid 10 minutes, dude. I think that I just keep working on stuff. Like, my life is so funny. It's like the shit that happens in my life. I want to talk about it because it's like people, like, stuff can relate to it, especially when I joined the army. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and before the army, I think because I was in from January to April, I was trying to get in because they have some tests I couldn't pass, if you know what I mean. So basically I couldn't get in till like April, and I was like, you know what, let me just do stand up comedy. And my mom she'd be like, you got to do something, Pop. You got to work, you know what I mean? But I was like, you know what, I got to figure something out. But yeah, I do stand up. I think in a couple.
So was
years.
that like always the passion for you, or did that kind of is that just kind of like, F it, bro? Like, let me try something new.
Yeah, try something new, bro. Because you know, most people won't get up on stage in front of it's not a lot of people. Maybe like 30 people, and just go talk. You know, but I feel like if you're able to do that, then it like helps your public speaking and stuff like that, and it could like open more doors for you. Because I like to be a leader, so. I think that if you could do stand-up comedy, you could do anything. Because not everybody's going to laugh at your jokes. I had a lot of times where I bombed. It was just like, damn.
Dude, what do you do when you bomb, dude? Like, damn. Because I have a buddy of mine that currently does that. And I'm like, damn, dude. Like, oh, man. Like, I love to consume comedy. But, gee, what happened? When you do that, what's on your mind? Like, how do you deal with that?
I think whenever you bomb, I think you can make fun of yourself. And that's when it's like, okay, well, that joke didn't really work, huh? You know, or I'll do stuff like, just talk about it, be like, man, it's quiet in here, you know, like.
Oh, so you acknowledge it?
Yeah, I'll acknowledge it, like, bro, you gonna laugh sometime or what? You're the next guy to go.
So like, how long do you stay on a joke and try it with different sets, like different days or whatever, before you're like, this joke not it? People don't like this one.
Well, each joke is maybe like 12 seconds for me because I won't spend a lot of time on the joke. You know what I mean? So I feel like after about 12 seconds, if nobody's really doing anything, then I won't add anything onto it. But I was kind of like same with the bike meets. I would always try to like prepare it and make sure that I could talk about stuff before. Like instead of saying, let me think. Yeah, instead of just talking about my Dominican girlfriend leaving me right away, I'd be like, "Hey, you ever dated a fucking illegal alien?" You know what I mean? Like, dude, you're nervous every time the cops get behind you. You know, shit like that. So I would just kind of like see how the crowd reacts, and if they aren't gonna react well, then I would pretty much go off of that. If you like, you could tell your crowd like. Some people would be like, read the room. And sometimes you actually have to read the room. But like my jokes wouldn't go over in Hawaii because
Really?
yeah, because a lot of them are like Hawaiians. You mean they're not gonna like the Mexican jokes all the time, you know, stuff like that. But I think it's just about reading the crowd, you know, reading the room.
Absolutely. So you've grown up, security detail. You know, your mom with marketing helped you with your bike meets. Coming to Houston, start doing some comedy. So you were doing that here in Houston, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, Houston.
Okay, so you were doing that here in Houston, and then you know, because we've known each other for a long time. I follow you on social media, so I always followed you with all my pages that I have, and then I see that you are enlisting in the military. I don't know when I first seen it, but the point is that I seen you in the military, and then I see you getting in the best shape of your life. I feel like I saw videos of or photos of you kind of like talking about the transformation that you were about to make.
Yeah.
And then in my head, and this is probably just for me from like from afar, right? Because it might have been more like involved as you were doing it. But in my head, it's kind of like you go silent for a little bit and you come back out, bro, like literally
Yes.
in the best shape of your life, bro.
Try to come back like a beast, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like the military, was that something that you had always were curious about? Because I mean, my family, my mom's side of the family and her cousins and her tios and all that stuff, they're like heavily into the military.
Oh, really?
One of my cousins is actually in Hawaii. He now owns like an auto body shop out there.
Oh, okay.
But
See, that's cool then.
But like, so for me, I've always been curious. Some of my cousins, they swore they wanted to be in the military, and I was like, I lived a super sheltered life, bro. So like, I felt like that's a whole different topic. But it was always something like, that would be kind of cool, bro. You know what I mean? Like, how did that happen for you, bro? Like, how's that been? How's that journey been for you?
Well, shout out to my little brother, cause like I was working in prison before military. All right, prison. They don't care if you don't have any felonies. Yeah, I had a couple misdemeanors, but they kind of like blew it
So
off.
you can work on there without
No felonies. That's
you know
all they
what's
care.
crazy? I applied for to be like not necessarily like a correctional officer,
Yeah.
but to work in some sort of like detention, like not military, detention center, and they didn't accept me because of my record.
They didn't accept me.
They rescinded my
Most
offer.
of them were denied me, but when I went to New Mexico, they accepted me because like it's so hard to keep them because there's a lot of gangs in New Mexico, and it's like I already have it like I wouldn't say I have a dog like that dog in me. You know what I mean? Where it's like okay,
That's right, my boy.
I'd be the correctional officer trying to fight the inmates and stuff like that, and that's why I got in trouble for fighting inmates.
Bro, no.
Yes, because I had, you know what I mean. I was doing security for a while. I was like, all right, whatever, let's try it out. So,
You said y'all
my
not
pops
finna do that to me, dog.
not me, dog. I let him somebody else. But my pops, I think I always wanted to be,
Crazy.
I always wanted to be like something like my pops, you know, because he was a correction officer for 19 years in California, and the one thing about him is like I always wanted to make sure that because I failed out of college, I failed everything that I tried in life, and I was like, you know what, let me do corrections. So, you know, let me do law enforcement. See, you know, if my pops is happy and stuff like that. And I was like, I was pretty happy in it because I like violence. But me and my little, I mean, yeah, I moved out to New Mexico. This is last year, and I was like doing it to where I've been in there for. I was in New Mexico for what, like 8 months, 9 months, and I was a shining star as a correctional officer. You know what I mean? I was in there doing burpees with the inmates, just trying to like have fun, you know, because
Yeah.
everything's got to be fun. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't take it serious. I wouldn't be an asshole. But one thing about inmates is like you got to give respect to get it. So any inmate that like is ever watching this, or well, the inmates I work were high custody, so they'll never watch this for like 10 years. You know what I mean? For you guys, you know, but but I would walk in on them and they'd be, you know, like smoking weed or doing some stuff like that, and I wouldn't really care. I would just be like, do your thing, bro. As long as you know what I mean. Just don't get me in trouble. And I wasn't like a bad correction officer. I'd make sure that you know to do my job. I would actually run in two pods, so I'd run in 600 custody and 700. They're the high custody yards. So or high custody pods. And so like I would see a lot of stuff that happened in prison, and I'd be the one dude who's like excited for it. I remember I was running both of them, and then I think it happened in 700. And I was going to 600 for a while because they're right across the street. So I went over there to 600 and I was talking to this girl, different correction officer, and we're just chopping it up for like an hour. And I went back to the 700 to do my rounds, like when you check on everybody and stuff like that. And this inmate's in the shower, and I'm like, bro, I was like, get the fuck out of here! Like, what are you doing in the shower? Like, he's like, help me, get me out of here. And I was like, what do you mean? And then he's like, look. And I walk around the shower, and he's just like bleeding from his side, from under his armpit, just blood flowing down, still blowing down. I was like, fuck, I'm fired, bro. I was like, I haven't been in here for an hour. You're supposed to do checks every 30 minutes.
Wait, were you fired?
No, I didn't get
on you though. I mean,
it's not on me. That's the reason it wasn't on me. So I was happy because he had stolen a lot of drug money from different guys.
In prison.
In prison, yeah. In prison, a gram of weed.
Man, you gotta be nuts to do that in prison, dude.
A gram of weed, like the wax, that shit's worth like $2,000, and the family would be smart. They would send it through letters, stuff like that. But a couple times, like inmates would tell on each other. You know what I mean? If two of them are selling weed, they're gonna tell on each other. So one person's gonna be like, "Hey, hit this cell," and then we would go hit that cell, and then the other person would be in the hole, which is like, it wasn't suicide watch. I forgot what it was called, but basically, you'd be in the hole, like you get in trouble, shit like that. But you pretty much pop one person, the other person sell out all of his dope, and then make their money, and then shit like that would happen. But at the time, it was fun. It was really cool. Like I learned prison sign language. I could GHI, and I was like really good at the people who talk. Like I would know, so I know what they're saying. So I was on the SORT team, Special Operations Response Team. So whenever they would be signing to each other, so like say you're in a cell and I'm in a cell, or you guys are far from each other, and you want to sell drugs in, right? You'd be like, yo, I got. So it'd be like, YOUIGOT, FETTNYL. So they would sign to each other, and I would be able to read them from the cameras because I knew how to do it. Because after a while, I started being cool with the pod bosses and kind of like knowing what's gonna happen in there. So like a pod boss is like the pod boss. He's in charge of everything.
Yeah.
So I pretty much know a lot of the inmates, like how they work and how they do stuff like that. And I got really good at like reading them, like what they're gonna do and what time shipment's coming in and like different stuff like that. So I worked in the prison for like close to a year, and then I got fired for fighting an inmate again. Wow. I got in like 5 fights in prison, dude. I treated it like it was fun, but I mean, and then after that, I came because I went to New Mexico because I was in Houston living for a little bit, met my ex-girlfriend, and then I ended up sending her out to New Mexico with me. And then we lived there for a little bit. And then I got fired. And when I got fired, I guess, like, I don't know, it fucked me up. I was like, damn, like, I made my dad so proud. And I ended up getting fired. It's like, fuck, that really just, like, hurt me a lot. So, yeah, I ended up doing that. And I was like, all right, cool. after I got fired, I was like, I texted my mom like, what am I supposed to do now? She's like, well, you're supposed to go look for another job. And I was like, damn, this like that sucks. You know, like I'm used to making 28 an hour. You got to go back to 15 an hour, wherever the fuck it was. So I sent my girlfriend back to Houston, and she was here for like my ex girlfriend. I sent her for like a month or two before I came and followed her, and then I was here last year, and this year's been like a crazy change in my life. That's what we're talking about in the military. She had we were doing good, and then on New Year's something like that, we got in a fight, and then she had left me. So whenever she left me, it was like, and I'm always used to having people around me. So like even now, it's like hard for me to be alone. So hard for me to be sleep alone or have like not like a bunkmate near me, or like even in my room in Hawaii, we share rooms, stuff like that. But I can't be alone anymore for more than a few hours, or else I start going crazy. Not crazy, but just like I don't know. I got to go outside and like chill out for a little bit. But she ended up leaving me, and when she left me with a dog that she bought, or I bought actually. I bought the dog, cause I was like, hey, you're going out to New Mexico with me. Let me get you a dog. Let me do all this nice stuff for you. And then whenever she left me in December, I was like, okay, well, it wasn't hard for you to leave me. You know what I mean? It took it over that. I think it was like in December, I paid for her trip to go to see her family in Chicago, right? She went for a week. And then I didn't know the whole time that while she was in Chicago, she was actually like looking for a job out there. So she came back for like the last week of December. And I feel like she was looking for a fight. I'm not going to say she was looking for a fight, but she was like, hey, I got a job in Chicago. Maybe after she was only there back with me for like 5 days. And I was like, what? She's like, what do you think about me joining, having a job in Chicago? And I was like, I don't know, go for it. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know that she was out there looking for jobs, whatever, when I sent her on vacation. So she ended up basically going and leaving me. And when she left me with like an empty 2-bedroom apartment, because I had money. Empty 2-bedroom apartment and a dog and just all of her stuff. So yeah, for like 2 weeks in January, because the year's not over yet. So this year in January, I was really like just depressed. I didn't really know what to do with my life, and I was just living off my savings basically. And so I was there with the dog, hanging out every day, drinking. You know what I mean? Doing all types of party materials.
Yeah.
So we're and it was in Greenspoint. I don't even know where that's at. It's like the ghetto over here. Because the apartments for a 2-bedroom apartment is like $1,000, dude. So I was like, yeah, let me do it.
So you're living in Greenspoint out here?
Greenspoint, yes, dude.
Everyone calls that Guns Point out here.
Yeah, Guns Point. Yeah, I made a documentary on it.
You did?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Just put in what is it? Yeah, I just put Greenspoint documentary on YouTube, and you can see like my work. I did drone videos, and it's funny when I was out there, everybody's like, "Oh, you're a fucking cop. You're a Fed." And I was like, "You had no idea." I was like, "Keep calm." You know what I mean?
They don't.
I just let them do it. You know, I just let them have fun. You know, because everybody at the gas station selling weed and stuff like that. But I was living there for about 2 months, and then I ended up going and moving in with one of my ex situations. I lived with her for about like 2 months, and then I met another girl, and then I had pretty much moved in with her before I was going to the army. She really stand by me. You know what I mean? So basically I ended up just couch bouncing, you know what I mean? Different girls trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. And then at that point I was like, okay, because it took me a while to get sober. So I ended up getting sober, and I got sent to Fort Benning. Fort Benning is an infantry camp. So because I couldn't pass my ASVAB, you need a 31. I got like a 22. So I was low as fuck, right? I've never been book smart. I was super low, and they sent me to this infantry camp, and I was just having I pretty much treated like just like prison, right? I was a prison guard before it, so I was like, all right, cool. Let me have fun. I kind of at that point I was like over the bike situations, stuff like that. And then Fort Benning was like that's where all the tough people go. You know what I mean? So anytime they try to make me do something hard, I would just go at them harder. You know, and that's whenever it's like nothing. I was broken before I joined the army. You know what I mean? I let one girl break me down, and that's the last woman that'll break me down. So it's like, all right, whenever you come back into the world after being broken down in silence, especially in silence, as a man, it's like, dude, you don't know what I've been through, but I'm not gonna say it. I mean, you just wonder like, why the fuck he's going so hard? Why is he like, he doesn't care about nothing. Nothing you could do to him is gonna make him break. And like, I went to Fort Benning, and then I ended up picking up my job, going to a few different states and stuff like that. But yeah, like ever since I've been in the military, like I haven't cried. Like in January, I was a crybaby. I ain't gonna lie. When she left me, I was a crybaby, dude. I swear to God, that was like the hardest shit. I was like, damn it, dude. You know what I mean? I fucked up. I was really upset at myself, stuff like that. But whenever I joined the army, I was like, it was too hard to cry for me. Just because I know that like, even when I wanted to, I was like, damn, it doesn't affect me anymore, you know? So basically, after I went there, it's like, went to a few different places, and then I got a lot of stronger. I went from like 186 to like right now I'm like 160. But I gained a little bit of weight because of beer, obviously, but fucking, but I take a lot of like the prison workouts that I learned when working in jail, and I apply them to the army. So like even now, I just do the same workouts that the inmates were doing, and it keeps me a lot stronger than the other people in my job. So I kind of like take advantage of it, you know, and I don't like say no to anything. Like I know how to follow orders. So if you could follow orders, show up in the right uniform at the right time, you could join the army, right? It's super easy. Like they don't care how retarded you are. So I ended up doing that, and I'm like one of the best soldiers. I'm not trying to sound cocky, but like everybody else,
Hey, you got it. Yeah, you got. You know
yeah,
what
I
I
mean
mean?
you got it, you got it. But it's like everybody else in my job, they're kind of like, because I have a smart job. I don't know how you say it, but basically, like everybody else, they don't want to go to schools as much as I want to go to. You know, they don't want to do all the physical shit. They'll do the computer shit, but they won't do the stuff that I want to do. You know, so anytime we'll have a contest, I'll volunteer. Anytime they'll have some type of competition, I'll volunteer for it. And I feel like that's what makes you stand out, because you can either be a smart soldier or a strong soldier. And I'm definitely not book smart, so I got to be one of those motherfuckers. So I try to like be the best I could be. Like I've had my whole life, you know, to be a fuck up, and it's like, all right, now nothing can break me, you know, no matter what, nothing can break me, you know, and that's how I look at the army. Like, um, I guess it really just changed my life. I never thought that I would go from not being able to pass the ASVAB, which is like the basic ninth grade test, you know, to living in Hawaii, you know, because I got a duty station in Hawaii, and I didn't even pick it. They picked it for me. I was like, oh
Wow,
no.
so you got assigned Hawaii like by
I
chance?
signed Hawaii by chance, dude. So I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I got so lucky with that. Most people, they gotta fucking sign extra contracts to get that, but they gave it to me, my dumbass. I said, oh shit, if I can do it, anybody
Man,
can
so
do
you
it.
got Hawaii, my
Mm-hmm.
boy.
But I was like, I was super happy to get Hawaii. Whenever I seen Hawaii, I turned into the perfect fucking soldier, right? I was like, oh shit, yes sir, no sir, just being like on time. Because they sent me to like a after boot camp, because I went to pre boot camp in Fort Benning. So the pre boot camp, I call it the retard camp, you know. But I went to the fucking retard camp, and then I went to the actual boot camp, and then I went to job training, and then I got to Hawaii. So it took me extra long because so many years I've been just fucking up my brain. You know what I mean? All the shit I've been putting into my brain and my body, it's like not good for me. But I ended up like, and I really think it was God that helped me out as far as like getting me somewhere that I needed to go correctly. Got in somebody else, and then I ended up like doing a lot more than I thought I would do. You know, I was pretty much saying I was done with Instagram, done with social media and all that stuff. But now it's like I keep posting my workouts, all my stuff, and people are actually gaining traction. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me just keep doing it. You know, I've done it before. It's not hard to do it. Now I'm just doing cringe content. So everything that people are like, oh, that looks weird. I did a video with my mom today. She's in the background doing push-ups for no reason, right? It had nothing to do with the fucking video, right? But the fact of the matter is like, okay, why is she doing that? There's no point, you know what I mean? But it's cringe, but it's funny too at the same time. So, yeah, the army, I feel like the army's really helped me out. I wouldn't say I'm any more mature. I'm still pretty immature. Like really immature. But I still like know, okay, I gotta be a good boy. I gotta do the stuff right, you know, or else I'm gonna get in trouble. So other than that, that's why I don't have a bike anymore. You know what I mean?
Just gotta stay on the P's and Q's, huh?
P's and Q's, baby.
Just say
You know what
good
I
about
mean?
it.
Even though I want one, but it's like, oh shit, I can't do it. You know, I gotta stay on the right track.
Hey, you know what? And that's good, bro. That's good. Seeing about the life that you've lived and where you're at in your life now, dude. I mean, that's awesome, bro. I'm glad that you have that kind of perspective to kind of stay on the straight and narrow. And I have a question for you, and then we'll get into some of the questions that some of the viewers submitted for us. But a burning question, bro. Like, what is the story behind these burpees that you're doing? What is the story behind these workouts that you're posting? Because I've seen those videos. I've seen the result of all the of those videos. Like, what is that, bro? What's the story behind those burpees that you're doing on social media, bro?
Okay. Well, let me tell you the truth. All right. Everybody can do weights. Everybody can do, you know, how much can you bench, all that stuff like that. But how many pull-ups can you do straight? How many push-ups can you do straight? That really shows how fucking strong you are. Because, I mean, if you could bench 300 pounds, but you only last 30 seconds in a fight, what does that matter? You know, it's all for looks. I don't do it for looks anymore. I do it for, you know, to show how in shape you are. And I don't, that's why I'm not even like, I've never been into weights anymore. Remember in high school, I was really big into weights, but it's like, okay, what is weights gonna do for you that burpees can't do for you? I've seen inmates doing 80 burpees at a time, and I'd be like, damn, bro, you're in really good shape. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, because I'm not over there lifting those water bags. I'm not trying to get super swole. You know what I mean? Those dudes will knock them out, and it's true. It's like they underestimate burpees, and that's why I take advantage of them. Because anytime somebody in the army would tell me, hey, I mean, go bench 300 then if you're that strong. I'd be like, hey, go do 20 burpees. see if you can fucking do it. You know what I mean?
It's different. It definitely is different.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the burpees they're great for your core. They're great for your chest, arms, legs. It's great for every part of your body. And it builds stamina. A lot of people don't have stamina. They can do three, you know, a bunch of plates. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like, how long will you last in a fucking fight? I've been fighting my whole life, Chief. All right, we're gonna keep fighting, you know. But if you can't do burpees, then yeah, you're a sucker, you know. So that's how I like to see it, dude. Burpees keep you in shape and keep you humble, you know. Because any of those people that are swole as shit, I'll be like, all right, let's go, burpee contest, push-up contest, and they can't match me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, well, what do those weights really do for you, dude? It's just looks, bud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're going to a fucking bar fight with me, I promise you, I'll win because I no matter how much you beat me up, I've been beat up before the army. You know, I've been beat up by life. I've been fucking everything. But it's like, how much can you actually hold in? How much stamina can you hold? You know, you could probably fight good for about 30 seconds to a minute. But if I could fight 5 minutes, then you're done. I'll let you get that out. You know.
That's a huge advantage, man. All right, we're gonna get into some questions that were submitted by our viewers. I'm gonna filter through some of the best ones. Okay, here's a question, and it goes, and we can do rapid fire. You don't have to go too long to this because I know these are. I mean, we've had you, and I'm grateful for the time that you have given us here. What was it like growing up in such a small town? Do you think that it limited you, or do you think that it grounded you?
I feel like growing up in a small town is great because the small town people get a lot bigger than the people that grow up from Los Angeles. I know a lot of people from Bakersfield that got way bigger than people from Los Angeles, you know? if you gotta if it's more harder, if you gotta do double the work, then it makes it even more satisfying. That's why I like, all right, let me do the work for it. So yeah, I think that small town is best, especially if you want to make something out of yourself. A lot of small town country artists, small town rappers, they're the ones that make it big, and it's crazy because they're the
Yeah,
ones in
that's
a
true.
random house in a random fucking neighborhood versus dudes who have all the exposure in the world, but they're trying twice as hard. Kind of like with the bike meets, you know what I mean? Bakersfield's a really small place. Nobody heard of Bakersfield, but you got to work extra to make Bakersfield poppin'. And I make Bakersfield look like a movie when I was there,
Yeah,
right? But it's like
absolutely.
you go out to Bakersfield, it's like 4 or 5 streets. It's not anything crazy, you know what I mean? But we're still doing circles around the same streets and make it look poppin'. So I think everything's perspective is how you treat it. I probably never move back to Bakersfield, but um, for the time being, it was cool. I like Bakersfield a lot.
Follow up to that one. They submitted a second one saying, "Do you think you would have be you? Do you think you would be who you are now if you stayed?"
No,
Man,
no, I think yeah, if I still stayed, I would still be going to my buddy's house, doing the same stuff that me and my buddies are doing every single day, and it's like I'm glad that I'm glad that I had a. I'm not saying I'm glad that I had like trouble with the laws, but I'm glad to where it took me in life. It's like
hmm
okay, it makes me seem, it gives me more of a story. It gives me more of a drive because I wouldn't have any of these experiences unless I left Bakersfield. Like a lot of like I forgot who it was. It was a big popular rapper. He was saying like, okay, if you want to expand, you need to leave your town,
mm
and that really stuck with me. I seen it somewhere on Instagram, and it's like, hey, if you want to expand, you need to leave where you're at. So I ended up leaving where I was at, and it's like, okay, the world's a lot bigger than 5 or 6 streets. You could ride all the way to the end of Bakersfield in an hour or less, and it's like, okay, try doing that in Houston. You know what I mean? People are not gonna do it.
yeah. No, Houston's huge comparatively speaking, dude. It's ginormous.
Exactly.
Okay, here's another question, and it says, well, the question says, "What did organizing bike meets teach you about people?" But I'm gonna expand that to just overall in general. What did doing security detail, bike meets, joining the military, stand-up comedy? What has all of this taught you about yourself and about people?
Okay. I think you can't make everybody happy. That's the one big thing. Like, even if you make, like, say you're making the Food Max employees happy, you're not gonna make the gang members happy that are cool with you, that are watching you go back to your car. The people that are watching you. I think that it made it to where what was like a part of the question?
Like, what did all of those experiences teach you about people?
Oh, okay. And about people is like at first when I was doing like security, I was really hard on people, and
Mm,
after a while, I started going hard for them because I would see them every day, or they would bring their kids, and I realized, damn, this fucking crackhead's got 3 kids, you know what I mean, that she's trying to feed, and I'm like, damn, that kind of sucks. Even though she
uh,
does have a little crack addiction or whatever,
uh,
she still,
Still
has to do
trying to provide for the family, huh?
trying to provide. So, I would do a lot of things I can't say on mic, you know what I mean, but I would I make sure that people taken care of. And like I didn't really I don't know, I guess I didn't see it. I think security brought a lot of that security in the bike meets. Seeing a lot of the kids whenever I'd go over to the house to go deliver something to them. It's like I'm selling them something for $15 and it's like, dude, like and most of the time I'd be like, what the fuck, why are you spending $15 on this? Like you don't need here you go. Keep it, kid, I'd be nice about it, because you don't see what people are going through. But when you see that, like, okay, people support you more than their own family supports them, it's like, okay, that's going to change you, especially I think seeing it from kids or somebody that doesn't have a lot, because most kids, and say like most kids in the ghetto, they'll support a really big basketball player, but the basketball player is not seeing what they're going through at home. You know what I mean? They can't see that, okay, they don't have a ride to school, stuff like that. So yeah, I think seeing that with security and then seeing it with the kids and the bike meets, it really changed me to where I'm like really caring. And I'll never have a kid because I don't. I'm immature and I don't need
Not
any
having
kids.
kids?
No, dude, no,
That's not in the plans. Okay.
no, dude. No, heck no. I gotta be with a woman that doesn't want to have kids also because, or have any kids because that's just like not part of my goals. I want to achieve a lot, and I feel like a kid's gonna slow me down. But cause I'm too caring now. I mean, I was really bad as far as like not caring for a while, but now I care a lot. So yeah, I think that changed me a lot. Seeing the bike meet kids changed me a lot, and then definitely working, with drug addicts, because you work with drug addicts in prison too. Everywhere you go. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So this question comes from someone who's also in the military, and they say, "What did you learn about yourself when things got hard?" And this is kind of sort of more specific to the military. Like I'm assuming training, those things. What did you learn about yourself when things got hard?
I think it take it back to where, nothing could break me. Um, Even when things got hard, it's like you never had to live real hard, So it's like, um, you know, things could be a lot harder. You don't know what it's like looking for a job, and you have no college experience, no anything. And it's like, okay, it could be hard in the military. But it's a lot harder whenever you're not like when you don't have anything going for you. I mean, what am I gonna tell them? Look at my Instagram that I built. No, you know what I mean. So, um, yeah, I think nothing could break me down in the army. Because things have been hard before, and I know what real hard is. I grew up pretty well, but mostly the people who grew up pretty well, they're all fucking drug addicts and shit now. Not saying any of my friends, but like, a lot of people that have a good upbringing, they like tend to get used to it. So that's why the most successful people are like people who didn't have anything. So yeah.
Sweet. Okay, just got two more questions for you. The first question that I'm gonna ask you, and I'm asking this because you mentioned about comedy and stuff like that. Top three comedians. If you need five, we can do top five.
Oh, I need three.
You need top. Okay, so who are your top three comedians all time?
All time?
Yep.
I think Ralph Barbosa. He's a really good one. He's from Texas. I say Texas like he had an accent. I don't have a fucking Texas. he's from Texas, right? Ralph Barbosa. What's his name? Colin Sledge. He's number two. He's been on Kill Tony a couple times. But he's really good. I seen him when I was doing stand-up comedy. And still, like, he doesn't have too big of a following yet, but I can see, like, the work he's putting in, and he's really, really going for it. And then the last person's got to be, what's the guy's name from not Chris Rock, but he's like this. Yeah, no. He was a dude off Friday. So when he does stand up, Chris Tucker.
Oh yeah, Chris Tucker.
He does great stand up. He's got like so many good stories talking about like the rats and the roaches or the roaches like Bloods and Crips. You got to separate them, in this apartment, shit like that. I love Chris Rock comedy. So yeah, he is really good. That's probably my top three.
That's good. That's a good list, man. That's a great list. Okay, last question, and then we're gonna close out the pod here. If you could give one piece of advice to all the people that are watching you and hearing your story today, it don't have to be about anything specific, but just anything. First thing comes to your mind, a life advice for the folks that are watching this. What would that be? Coming from Lotto himself.
I would say don't give a shit what anybody thinks. People have a lot of negative thoughts towards me or whatever I do, but I think if you're yourself, which that's one thing I struggled to like find myself. Whenever I found myself, I sucked myself. A weird motherfucker. You know what I mean? Somebody who's funny, who doesn't really have a plan in life. And it's like, if you're generic and you're yourself, then nobody can beat that. It doesn't matter as far as influence on social media, anything like that. All that stuff fades away. Because I've been away from my other Instagram for a year, and I realized, damn, nobody cares, But as long as you be yourself, no matter what, I think that's all that matters. You know, you can only put up a front for so long. You see those people with COVID money who all that money's gone now and they're not posting anymore. It's like, okay, well, what were you? You know, you're a scammer. So, yeah, be yourself. Just don't care what nobody thinks. That's one thing I do. I don't give a shit about what nobody thinks about me. That's the best way to live.
I love that. I love that. All right, Lotto, I appreciate you for stopping by. I'll give you one more chance to say, to let the people know where they can find you, to let them know what you got going on, anything that you want to promote.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna give you the ISO cam. You right over here. Feel free to take a look. Speak to the people, my boy.
Oh shit. Okay. So you can find my Instagram, LOTTODALUCHIII, LOTTODALUCHIII. I got a lot of ex-girlfriends, so they made a lot of fake accounts of me. But and then you can see my film work at Hittacity, HITTACITY. Yeah, right now I'm not doing too big on social media, but give me a few years and it's gonna be there. You can check out my TikTok too. It's Battle Buddy, BADDLEBUDDY. You can see what I'm going on in my life. But I appreciate you letting me stop by, brother.
Dude, Lotto, I appreciate you for coming by. Hey, you're more than welcome. Anytime you want to come by,
Come by, dude.
tell the stories you got going on, bro. I look
bro.
forward to hearing from you from like in the future with all the other stuff you got going on, my boy.
I don't know when I'm gonna see you next, but I'm gonna see you soon.
Yes, sir,
brother.
bro. Yes, sir. Hey, you know what? Who knows? Maybe the next time we do this party, it might be in Hawaii, bro.
Dude, it's gonna be somewhere, bro.
It'll be
we're
somewhere,
gonna it's gonna be. This is just the start. You know what I mean?
Yes, it is.
This is just the start.
Yes,
baby.
it is,
You
bro.
gotta
Hey,
keep
you know
going
what? I
positive.
appreciate you for stopping by, my boy.
Love you, Philly.
That's
Glad you still got your bike. Bro.
Hey, I appreciate it, bro. Yes, sir. That's another episode of the Background Noise Podcast, fellas. Appreciate you for stopping by. Subscribe, do the whole thing, because we're talking to real life people, real life stories here on the Background Noise Podcast. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, that's good, bro.
Okay.
That was tough, bro. I love that, bro. I love that. That was cool, bro. I appreciate you for stopping by, dude.
Oh my gosh. Watch out, baby. You're good.